Welcome back to another VOD review, and thanks for all the support on my most recent one. If you'd like me to review one of your VODs for a video, check out the link in the description where you can send one in. If my voice sounds different, it's because I have COVID, so put a mask on while you watch this video and when you're outside. Today we're going to be looking at some bronze gameplay. First, I'll let each round play out without any of my input so you can try to see what can be improved. I'll then note what I saw that could have been done better and what could be eliminated from their playstyle. To start, the crosshair placement here is a bit low and it sort of seems like Cypher doesn't really know what to do and is sort of just there on sight. As the Viper orb is flying onto sight, he watches it but backs up as to where he's exposed to a short. Had the enemy peeked, they wouldn't have gotten hit by the tripwire and would have had a few free shots on him. After the Phoenix gets killed by KO, Cypher reloads when it's completely unnecessary. 11 bullets is more than enough to kill an enemy, and I think if he hadn't reloaded, he could have killed the Viper much quicker than how he actually did.
They found my wire.
After getting scanned by the Sova dart, you shouldn't peek right away. Wait for it to wear off. The only time you should peek when you're scanned is if they're going to peek you and are pre-aiming you. Even by doing this, you still have a very, very low chance of winning the fight, but it's higher than otherwise.
My eyes are down.
Welcome to my world. Spike planted.
Fire's out.
Last player standing.
So our friend here spammed way too much with a gun that's not the best for spamming. And the shots at the marked Sage were not gonna hit since once they've been marked, they've already moved. Viper's ult on the post plant makes it so you have to move much faster than normally. You can't take your time, you have to try to kill the Viper as soon as possible in order to allow yourself to have a chance to win. Spamming a lot only wastes ammo and time. Cypher didn't keep track of his ammo and in result had to use his classic to try to win a 1v2 against a Viper with snake bites in her ult. Absolutely no chance to win once you've wasted time in heaven. The only way you win that round is if you jump from heaven and actually play with your team. Staying in heaven gets you nowhere and as we saw, loses you the round.
Help. Found my wire. Camera taken. Cage triggered.
In that situation, when you have a cage that blocks short from your position, there's no reason to spam that. You didn't get any audio or visual cues that someone was in or near your cage and there's no logical reason for the Phoenix, or any player at that, to go where you spammed. The only two ways someone would realistically go is where the Phoenix went and towards sight on the other side of the boxes you're at. It's usually not a good idea to spam a smoke first unless you are fairly sure where the enemy is. Whether it's audio, your teammate sees them on the map, you saw them before the smoke, or any other similar situations. When you don't have any of that knowledge, don't spam so you won't get caught off guard like that. Also, backing up like that only makes you an easier target.
Spike. Here.
Once you're in a corner, very exposed like that, you shouldn't touch your camera unless the Viper A long gets killed. You're a dead man once the enemy hears you go onto your cam. Just hold that angle, and it's a good one too since you can watch the walk from A short and A long. It's the same principle as not pulling out any utility when in the open. Running with a flash out or any one of your other abilities is a surefire way to get shot in the head. Use abilities when you're safe and or can retreat to behind cover very quickly.
Camera taken.
That camera didn't do much. It really just showed what you'd see when pushing up, and it doesn't clear any one and dones. I think when you checked your cam first, your shoulder was showing just a bit. I can't really tell though. While checking your camera here, you're very exposed to the flank, and when you get out of your cam, you can see that none of your team is watching it. Make sure to always check your cam in safe spots where it's unlikely for an enemy to peek you. Don't put that cage there unless your jet backs up or starts to get shot at without dashing. She could have held the angle for longer and had the flank on lock. Some of you may not like what I'm about to say, but it's the truth. Don't scope in with rifles. It's obviously a choice, and you'll hear all these tips and tricks and guides channels tell you that it's all about preference, but I'm the one who's going to say it. Don't do it. Obviously some weapons have different firing modes when scoped in, but that's an exception. The only times you should be scoping in is when it's really, really long range, you're holding a super tight angle, and I'm talking a few pixels here, and if you have bad eyesight or a very small monitor. Even when going for one taps, you shouldn't really do it, as there's a different type of recoil. After Cypher gets rezzed, he places a cam to check close left when coming up from long. Once it's been cleared, that camera serves no other purpose and should be picked up immediately so you can use it again sooner. A few general notes I made were that his aim was a bit shaky, showing that his effective DPI or EDPI is too high. It looks to be around 400 to 500, with the average pro being around 300. To calculate your EDPI, simply multiply your in-game sensitivity times your DPI. Mine is 800 DPI times 0.4 cents in-game, making my EDPI 320. Try to lower this a bit in increments and get to around 300, 350. It'll help your game tremendously, and it allows for more fine movements to be made with better accuracy. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe. Submit your own VOD review to be reviewed in the link in the description, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.